Survival gardening. What you might want to grow pre and post apocalypse. Hey everybody, this is Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. Seriously, what are some of the best crops that I think, in my opinion, are good to grow in your survival garden, your victory garden, whatever you want to call it, your homestead, your prepper garden. So when I'm thinking about items to grow, I want calories, of course. I also want variety. I want nutrients and minerals. I want to try to get some proteins and as well as carbs. I want things that grow a lot and or maybe get in 2 full growing cycles or 3 per season. So quantity, ease of use, ease of gardening, and multiple options. Having the option to eat them fresh, eat them, let them grow to seed and then dry or dehydrate or can for later use, as well as retrieval of seeds and let me see what else. Oh yeah, like cold resistant, different kinds of things like that, drought resistant, stuff like that. So in this list, I'm going to have 10, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, 10 things. And there's a lot more. And this is just my list. It's not all-inclusive. You hopefully are growing a lot more than just these 10 things. But these 10 things I think would be really good to have in your garden. So let's go over them. Number 1, and these aren't in any numerical order, but starting off with a really go-to, one of our go-tos, is beans. Because we love them, because they grow really well here. We grow a lot of beans, and I can get 2 full crops of beans in them, or in the season, meaning plant, grow, harvest, get to the point where they start to die off, pull them up, put in new seeds, or those same seeds that we were able to dry, and then grow, harvest, etc. 2 full growing cycles like that. And beans are really cool because you can eat them as green beans, which is usually what we do, or you can let them kind of go to seed, which is where you're actually getting the beans inside of them. And then you can dry out those beans and you can stockpile them. Now, is it the most efficient way to get beans? No, because you can go to this restaurant supply store, get a 50-pound sack of beans, or you can go somewhere else, get 10 pounds, 5 pounds, whatever. And they're very inexpensive. So that's why we usually do the green bean thing. We like eating them fresh. We put them in salads, we put them in stir fries. We can them also for later use. There's a lot of different ways you can eat beans. Oh, green smoothies. Put them in green smoothies. Tons of different ways. And the kids love them. They're super sweet. They're super awesome when you grow them yourselves. And then bush beans, pole beans. Well, that depends on your garden, your setup, how you want to do it. Do you want to build trellises for the pole beans to grow up? That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Different styles, different situations. Maybe you want to grow both, just in different areas of your garden. Maybe one area is set up to grow pole beans. That's ones that grow up, pole, or the bush beans. I usually stick with bush beans, although I may do some pole beans. I have some cattle panel fences that I can cut and make like an A trellis and have them grow them at the sides. Kind of like peas. But yes, beans definitely make the list. And since I mentioned peas, that's the second one that I have on my list, peas. Because I get usually 3 full cycles of peas. Peas grow crazy here. I get 8 to 10 foot tall peas. It's crazy. And we eat almost all those like sugar snap peas, just green from the pod. Although usually at the end of the life of the pea plant, I will let a bunch of them go to seed, so that I can collect them, dry them, and use them in the next year and add it to my seed storage. That's a very good thing to do. Quantity for peas, and just the fact that they're so sweet, and it's a family favorite. We love eating peas. So that definitely makes my list. What is another thing? It grows prolifically, produces a lot of calories. It may not be super caloric dense, but a very good option is squash. Because there's a lot of different squashes. You got your zucchinis, you got your yellow, crookneck squash, your summer squashes. You have your butternut squashes, your winter squashes, your acorn squash. There's a lot of different squashes. Pumpkins are a squash. So you can get these different hardiness, I guess, hardness, what I call them. You know, because zucchini's softer, pumpkin's hard. So the harder ones will last and store much better. And you can dehydrate them, you can freeze dry them, you can can them. There's a lot of different things you can do with them also. So that's really good. And what I really love about, say like pumpkins, butternut squashes, acorn squashes, the harder squashes, is the amount of seeds they produce. Just a little pumpkin like this, we had 2 of them decorative laying around the house, and they started getting soft. So I was cutting them up, dicing up the meat of the pumpkin to throw in the raised beds for organic material. But I saved the seeds. And just those 2 little pumpkins got us a whole baking sheet of seeds. It's sitting out drying now. So that's really good. And you guys know zucchini. You can see the huge zucchini. Oh, that's one thing I forgot to mention. Zucchini, I don't let them get huge, because zucchini is one of those things that the plant is trying to reproduce itself. So if you let it get big and closer to seed, then the plant will be like, okay, I am satisfying the requirements of reproduction, meaning the seeds. So if you harvest them when they're younger, it will grow, it'll continue to produce the vegetable. It'll continue to produce stuff for you to eat longer than if you let them get huge. So I just go for the regular size zucchini, about that big. Sometimes they get a little bit bigger because I'll get behind, or we have so many, stuff like that. But I also wanted to mention that about the beans and the peas are also like that. If you don't let them get to the seed stage, little one needed me for a second. Apologize. Anyway, if you harvest them before they, start really forming seeds, then they will produce more and more and more. So that's another advantageous thing about beans, peas, and squashes. So moving on, corn. I had good luck with corn last year in that raised bed. That's my largest raised bed. That is 5 foot by 10 foot raised bed. So that is a really good raised bed right there. And that is the one, if you guys saw the video, it's hugelkultur method. Instead of building a mound above ground, what we did for that bed is we dug down about 3 feet, filled it full of logs, branches, all kinds of organic material that are compost, retain water, and all that stuff like that. Look up hugelkultur. It's H-U-G-E-L, hugel. I believe that's how you spell it. Hugelkultur gardening. It's an ancient Germanic tribal way of gardening. So I kind of do a modified version of that in all my raised beds. But anyway, I had good luck with corn last year, but I'm not going to dedicate a raised bed to it this year. That's why if you've seen the videos, we're clearing out the lower field, pulling out all those blackberries. Had a tribe member come in with his excavator, one of the smaller excavators, and tear up all the blackberries. Now we need to go through and pull up all the roots and everything. So, yes, that being said, corn. We're going to plant a cornfield down there in the ground. And I'm just going to use field corn because I don't care. We're going to dry it and use it, ground it up for cornmeal. Well, we're not going to grind it up right off the bat. We're going to dehydrate it and then put it in bags, dry it out, put it in bags, and then store it for food storage. So yes, I'm not going to do sweet corn. Okay, next thing. Potatoes. They got to make the list. Every list. Potatoes, calories, and easy. You can grow potatoes anywhere. You can grow them in buckets. You can grow them in straw, hay. You can grow them in raised beds. You can grow them in the ground. You can grow them so many different ways. There's even like bags. Yeah, potato bags. There's a lot of different ways to grow potatoes. Quantity, calories, and ease. Very easy. Okay, sorry. That time I had to go investigate an interesting noise. Nothing. No big deal. So potatoes. Yep, potatoes got to make the list. Grow a lot of potatoes. Potatoes have seriously helped civilizations survive. Moving on. one I like is beets. Beets grow really well here. Another thing I like about beets is you not only get the beet, the root, but the beet greens are wonderful in salads, in stir fries, anything like that. As well as green smoothies. Just cook them up like they are. They're sweet. You can eat them raw. I love beet greens. Super, super awesome, sweet, yummy tasting. Uh-oh. Something's happening in the house that I need to go check out. So, that just happened. I lost my place in the video because I had to go deal with 5-year-old issues. I know I talked about beets, so let's move on. Next thing on my list is Sunchokes, aka Jerusalem artichokes. No, they're not from the Middle East, they're native to North America. Also, if you hear noise in the background, that is my son with his Red Ryder practicing killing zombie cans. So, target practice. Sunchokes. They're an invasive species. They're a tuber, like a potato. They are 28% protein, low on the glycemic index. I talk about them often. They're very easy to grow. They're drought resistant. They produce a lot. And they grow into these like 10 to 15 foot tall plants. They have like almost like a sunflower type flower on them. Really good. They're easy to grow, but they are invasive. So plant them in an area where you're okay with them taking over that area. Or raised bed or container. That works well. Next on the list would be kale. I like kale because it's resistant to cold weather, and so you can plant it a little bit earlier. And also, it is a good quick crop. Sometimes if I plant kale at the same time as I plant like tomatoes from seed, because I know that the kale will grow up and I'll be able to harvest it before the tomatoes really get up there and they need the sun and they won't block them, stuff like that. So it's a good quick cover crop. It's high in nutrient value, stir fries, throw in a lot of different things, green smoothies, kale. I mean, you may not like the taste of kale, but there's ways to cook it that cover it up. So kale's really good, nutrient dense. Next one would be sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are much more difficult for me to grow here because it doesn't get as hot, it doesn't get as sunny and stuff like that. I did have some luck with them last year in containers, in a black container. This year, I'm probably not going to try sweet potatoes just because for me here, they just don't work out well. But they may work out well for you where you are. And it's a good option. It's something nice to have as well as regular potatoes. You can make sweet potato fries, you can throw them in green smoothies, you can bake them, there's a lot of different ways you can cook sweet potatoes. And it's kind of a treat. You throw some honey on them, bake them with some honey or some brown sugar or something like that, and make, candied yams. Yams and sweet potatoes, I know there's supposed to be a difference. I don't know the difference. To me, it's the same thing pretty much. But anyway, let's go on to number 10, last on the list, but definitely not the least, least important. Sorry, is herbs. Okay, so you're not going to get a bunch of calories. You'll get nutrients though, but herbs are essential for seasoning your foods, and the medicinal values of herbs are very good. Look into herbalism, all those kind of things. Naturopathy. If the system breaks down and we don't have hospitals and stuff like that available to us, we're going to have to make do with using and doing things old school, meaning herbs. So herbs are very good. We're going to have a lot of herbs this year as well as a lot of garden. A lot of big stuff on the horizon we'll be showing you. Speaking of beets, these are my beets that survived the 11-degree temperatures and 2 feet of snow on them for a week or so. And they seem to still be doing good. They have some new growth on them and stuff like that. So I'm going to leave them be and then harvest them before I top this bed off. So survival gardening. I recommend everybody have a garden. If you've watched my channel for any length of time, you know that. Gardening and raising your own animals is very important. And that's on the horizon here on the channel, is the whole building the chicken house, chicken run, all that stuff, bringing in chickens, having chicks, all that stuff, all that fun is on the horizon. So stick around for that kind of stuff. But please subscribe, hit the like button, comment below, share the videos, ring the notification bell for all that kind of stuff helps with the algorithm. And I want to go to the channel because I really want to reach more people. I want to uplift and empower more people. The way I look at it is building assets. I want more people in the asset column versus the liability column. The more people in the liability column are more people that will be starving, hungry, desperate, and coming for your food and my food and our gardens or whatever else. The more people we help push into the asset column, even if it's just a little bit of preparedness, even if it's just growing a little bit here in your apartment or something like that, at least you may have some sort of leg up. But tribe is so important. Tribe is really where it's at. And the whole homesteading thing like this. The more you can do, the better. Anyway, I hope you guys liked the video. Sorry for the interruptions. It's life. Family comes first. I know I love you guys, but you know I love my family a little bit more. So, prep out of peace of mind, not out of fear. Have a wonderful day, and I love you guys. Blessings to you and yours.